Hello there! I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to the Smallville Retrospective, where we're talking about Season 3, Episode 6. 6? That's 6. This is 6. Relic. And, this was a better episode, I think. In the episode, Lana's trying to prove the innocence of her great uncle Dexter, Uncle Dex, after when he was supposedly wrongfully arrested for the murder of his wife Louise. And so the plot thickens when they realize that there was a drifter that went through town, and that drifter could be connected to Clark's past. I think I'm giving a synopsis with the rest of the ones I've done so far for this season, but here it is. And we start off with Lana talking to this guy we never met before, that we don't know. We never see him again after this, but he's talking about, his wife Louise was murdered. We see flashbacks, and it looks like, the gunshot goes off, the sheriff comes in, and of course, cops in movies and cops in general, oh, you're holding the corpse of your dead wife. You did it! And, the more and more we go on with these flashbacks, the more and more you start to think, why didn't this cop believe him? And you find out why, but, there are moments in this where you're like, well, no, he knows that this drifter exists, so why didn't he? I don't know. But then you do figure it out. Yeah, so... he says he didn't do it. He says it was a drifter, and he gives this newspaper to Lana, and the drawing in the newspaper looks suspiciously like Clark. This might be a bit conflicting for some fans, and it is a little bit for me to think that Jor-El came to Earth in 1961 and fell in love with someone who looked just like Lana, and then left due to some circumstances. All his connections, and leading to the revelation that, it wasn't just random that the Kents found Clark, it was destiny. They're supposed to find Clark. Which was kind of already said in the first episode, where Martha says, "We didn't find him. He found us." Yeah, but then they double down in this episode. It always baffles me, especially when you tell someone who knows, especially in this town with all the meteor stuff. So Clark sees the drawing and recognizes the necklace that the guy has on, a little pendant, Kryptonian pendant, and recognizes it from drawing on the wall. When he touches it, he finds the pendant, and it's like a diary, we find out. Ever since he touches it, if he touches something that the drifter touched, it is flashing back in time to the time of this. And so we see he touches a mail, a mailbox in the town square there, and sees the moment, the meet cute, as the kids call it nowadays, of the drifter, known as Jor-El, and Louise. And this is the first instance we see the cop named Billy, deputy or sheriff, whatever. She gets robbed in front of this by an Irish gentleman, who we later find out was Lachlan Luthor. And Lex finds out it's not lied to him. What else is new? Saying that Luthor's never stepped foot in Smallville until his father bought the cream corn factory. Well, Lionel has a good point. Why would you want to dwell on your past of criminals and stuff in your family when you move forward? move forward. This is the episode where we find out that his parents died in a tenement fire. But throughout the episode, we find out it wasn't a tenement fire, it was an explosion, it was arson, and his parents were murdered. But by who? That's going to be a driving story going forward. Yeah, and then the flashbacks proceed to happen, and we find out that it was more than just a meet cute between Joe and what do I want to call it? Deborah. It's not a name. Not Deborah. Louise. Between Joe and Louise. It's love. Like one of those, it's, love at first sight bullshit that doesn't really happen. And again, you kind of look at it and you go, really? What is it with the women in Clark's family? Even as not blood-related family, we know that Jonathan and Nell had some sort of history before he got with Martha. And then, Clark's obsessed with Lana. I don't know. Joe had a thing for her Grand Aunt Louise, which she calls Dex her great uncle, but what Louise is the blood relative has to be. It looks just like her. Here's the thing. So they find out that Lachlan Luthor was released. We find out through flashbacks that Lachlan Luthor was the one who killed Louise, but it was an accident. And if this ain't the most cockamamie way to kill off a character, couldn't it just be that he went to shoot the Drifter and Louise got in the way? Why does it have to be he shot a bunch of bullets at the Drifter, one got away, and killed her? That is the stupid, or ricocheted off of him and killed her. It's fucking stupid. Like, why couldn't it be he goes to shoot the... Wouldn't it make more sense if he goes to shoot the Drifter, Louise jumps in the way, and gets shot? That would make more sense. Not she's standing behind him, and completely behind him, but she gets shot from a ricochet bullet. Fucking stupid. And the Drifter runs off. Dex comes in, he sees her laying there, dead. He sees the Drifter before he runs off, and then Billy shows up. And they find out that it was Sheriff Billy Tate who signed off on Lachlan Luthor being released. So they go to talk to him. He's now the mayor of Smallville. And it's the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files. As soon as you see that, he did it. It was him. He did it. He set it up. He did it. It's a cigarette smoking man. It's him. Come on. Come on. But yeah. Here's the thing. He comments that Lana looks just like her aunt, but doesn't mention, oh, and Clark, he looks just like that Drifter guy. He doesn't bat an eye to Clark. And I was like, why doesn't he? And then I realized he can't. He's trying to cover it up because he says here that he arrested Dex because he thinks that Dex made the Drifter up. And I went, what? You saw him twice. We also find out in a flashback that he caught Joe and Louise making out. Something's not adding up here. Could he be lying? Yes. Because he is. He's behind the whole thing. He did it. Like I said, he did it. Turns out he was also in love with Louise. Because of course he was. And he wanted Lachlan to kill the Drifter so he could be with Louise. But that still leaves Dex. I don't know. But with the Drifter in the wind and Louise dead, he had to put the blame on someone, so he said it was Dex. That's when he couldn't admit that that's why he couldn't admit that there was a Drifter. So Clark gets him to admit this stuff by dressing up as a Drifter, and right away he's like, Mr. Kent, I believe you have me confused with someone else. And then it's him, because he finds the jacket. First of all, stop flashing. he finds the rifle that he saw a bunch of flashes. Finds out that after running from the murderer, Joe ended up on the farm with Grandpa Kent, Hiram Kent. And we find out that Hiram helped him to the caves. Hiram had been to the caves. Oh. And says, is there anything you ever need? So let me know. And then Clark lands in the Kent's lap. So what if Jonathan Kent decided to leave Smallville? Who knows? Maybe they would have found him either way. But anyway, they don't believe him at first, but then he's like, he wanted to name you Gene. After Gene Autry. That's how he believes him. He has the jacket that happened to be the Drifter's jacket. So that's why he dresses up like the Drifter, gets him to confess. And he does. Sheriff Adam is about as helpful as tits on a mule in this episode. Because here's the thing. She goes all on a little tirade about, I need two things. Means and motive. Or something like that. Like, motives and evidence. And so they present her with evidence and motive. And she ignores them. They present them. They said, hey, they showed this thing. It's a love letter. It's his writing. It matches the writing on here, on this signature. It matches the signature. That's proof. And he was in love with Louise. Motive! And she just goes, you need to stay at it, Mr. Kent. And walks off. After that whole tirade about she needs proof and she needs motive, they give it to her, right? The handwriting matches. He was in love with Louise. It seems to me that's motive enough to try to get revenge. Obviously it didn't go the way it wanted, but motive, proof. And she just walks off because this is halfway through the episode, so we can't be done yet. But they give her exactly what she said she wanted. And she has to ignore it because plot. So, yeah, wrap up. Lex presents the evidence that it was a murder, which Lionel already knows. But he says, oh, I can prove it. Didn't have the means. And, well, then, but now. Yeah, now, but, stuff. He's trying to get around it. He's like, well, well, technically the trail would have gone cold. There's no need to, exactly want to try to trudge up an old case and blah, blah, blah. And then that's when we get the revelation that, he doesn't think he was sent there by mistake. They're supposed to find him. So, it's destiny. 3.5 Superman logos out of 5 on this one. This was good. But now we're getting into the first two episodes I ever watched. It'll be the last ones I do for today. But the first two episodes I ever watched for Smallville. We're getting into that with Magnetic and Shattered. Shattered is a good one. But Magnetic, that's the next one. Kevin Zegers in that one. So we shall see. Till then, what are your thoughts on this episode? Leave a comment, so much like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. Greg, move your head. Damn it!